What effect, Sheriff, has the Ray Rice situation had on you as a male, and how do you think that it has affected the world's view of the NFL?
Well, as a male, it has a great effect on me. Being a father of two young kids, being a father of two young kids myself, I have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old, and just to see the situation that happened with Ray Rice and the status that he holds, I just want to, I just say to people that regardless to who you are, what position you hold, you still have to maintain a type of attitude and just respect the law, especially when it comes to domestic violence. Domestic violence, when it deals with women and the high rate that we have here in this state, and the problem that we have in the country. So it affects me greatly just to see domestic violence, and it also gives me a tool to teach my young boys and the young kids in the area in the county of Orangeburg that this is something that can't be tolerated, something that we can't deal with.
Attorney Williams, if you could help elaborate on that. I know that you're a huge sports fan. If you could just briefly tell us a little bit how that situation has affected you.
Yeah, I'd echo what the sheriff had to say. I've got two young boys, 4 and 2, and I actually have a daughter that turns 1 tomorrow. And, it's always something, it's unfortunate that it takes an event like that to bring this to center stage and to make everybody focus on these kind of issues. But it's an opportunity for us to learn from that, teach our kids, have symposiums like this, have a panel discussion where we can get this out in the forefront. Because like Christian said earlier, this is not something that most men want to sit around and talk about. It's not something that you want to attack and take head on. But this gives us the opportunity, unfortunately, through mainstream headline, whether it be social media, the news, newspaper, but it gives us the opportunity to get around and attack these kind of issues. And if we sit back and don't do anything about it, nothing's going to change, So it's a good opportunity for us to teach our kids, have these conversations with our young sons and, say, look, that kind of stuff isn't going to be tolerated. That's not how you treat a woman, and to learn from this. And so I think that's unfortunate, though, we have to see something like that to get to this point, but, glad that we're able to have these discussions and to hopefully learn from them.
Solicitors Edwards and Solicitor Jeffrey, one question that came up to the panel was, what is a primary aggressor definition in accordance to the Ray Rice situation, where several people were saying, well, it appeared that she may have spit on him and that caused him to hit her. Can you please elaborate on the primary aggressor situation?
Yeah, I can. In South Carolina, our code of laws define criminal domestic violence as causing harm or attempting to cause harm to one's own household member, and then it goes beyond that to define what a household member is, and that usually includes, or it does include, a spouse, a former spouse, someone of the opposite gender whom you live with in a romantic situation. Those are the primary individuals who qualify as household members. And what is required by statute is for a law enforcement officer who arrives on the scene of what's a domestic call to make a determination as to who's the primary aggressor. The primary aggressor is the individual who is most or more responsible for the physical altercation. So it's usually the individual who, quote unquote, threw the first blow or otherwise put the other person in a compromised position as to having to defend him or herself. So that primary aggressor determination is made to determine which of the two parties was most responsible for the physical altercation.